hero.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to because you can defensive tri-lane as well. But when you take these 3 heroes like off the bat, you feel pretty confident. Plus, like Tusk is one of the few 4 heroes that you feel like, aside from maybe like Leshrac, that can straight up kill the Undying. He doesn't just get to trade decay hits. Like, you actually put pressure on the hero.
Is it difficult trying to be careful what you say?
Incredibly so.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and that's why I don't want to put you too much on the spot. It's more your thoughts.
Yeah, but I'm trying
if you were.
I'm trying to give you guys also like.
Yeah.
Like, once they pick, I'll tell you everything.
Okay.
Because then it's kind of like...
You're going to let me take the easy things to say? That way I don't just say nothing the whole time. It's like trying to be on a draft panel with like Black and 1437. I just sit there and they just talk the whole time and I'm like, God, I don't know anything compared to these guys. So next pick is for TNC Predator. They have a really crappy lockdown outside of Earthshaker right now. Lane-wise, obviously the Undying build, they do a Venomancer.
Yikes.
Good against all 3.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever tried going Tranquil Boots into Arcane Boots Venomancer and then following it up with an Octarine Core and a Kaya?
No.
That's Slax's build. It's
What
really
the
bad.
hell?
It's really bad. They're not going to do that. Nobody should either.
Why did you just put that out there in the world?
Because it's been on my head and for too long. I had to argue with people on Reddit why it was bad. It was bad, dude. Anyways, the hero is pretty decent if you don't go that garbage.
All right, so I told you they were going to aggro, right, when they took the Axe, and they took the aggro hero. So they will 100% aggro this morph. They're going to scout early on to figure out where the laning phase goes, and then they're going to save their TPs. I'll just tell you everything now that it's been done. So SD, so you take SD, you take Axe, you ban out Batrider, so you have a good one-on-one matchup, Axe versus anything. Then you take the Tusk because he's like the best tri-lane hero because of tag team. Then you follow up into the Visage. I think the reason why TNC took the Earthshaker there as well, like the Earthshaker morph combo, is because we're Liquid's probably like one of the cheesier brew teams. Like that, they'll take it first pick as like the overall 4th pick. And so when you take the Earthshaker right there, you have the option of flexing him into mid as well. So then you don't really hard lock yourself. Like that's March's way, I think, of preventing the cheese later down the line.
While also giving them a good combo.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like accomplishing 2 things at the same time.
Which I think is really clever.
And then Visage is a good tri-lane hero because of the high damage from Soul Assumption, right? So they take OD now as like the core counter to the morph, and it just, once you get, I think what Liquid's probably thinking is once you take this OD and he gets BKB, he should be the strongest hero in the game. And so now TNC, if you have second pick, you need to pick a hero right now that you feel like just overall wins you the game. Like that's the point of second pick, is you might have 2 weak lanes, which they probably will, but they'll have one really strong overall, like this is the game winning hero.
What is that hero?
I think it's a pretty good, I'm trying to think of the heroes that Armel plays. Like I don't think it's a very good, it's a good TA lane, like TA versus OD feels okay, but I don't know if it's a good TA game because there's just so much lockdown for her and there's a lot for her to get through and she doesn't burst very quickly.
A lot of those heroes look kind of hard to kill, even Shadow Demon included. It's like, and they have OD banish too. I don't think TA works very well.
But whatever hero it is, it has to be like this wins you the game. There's no counter to it.
Is there room for an Invoker? No, a Puck. Okay, well, a Puck is one of Farmel Zeros.
It's really nice here because there's no instant disable, and most of the Pucks nowadays they're good enough to dodge the Axe call with phase shift, and I think Armel's just a really good Puck player.
And even like silence and anti-mobility against the enemy team is good. They have saves, but they can't necessarily save and then disengage against Dreamcoil. So I think Dreamcoil could also keep people away from Tombstone. It makes it easier to land Earthshaker combos. Like Morphling's going to be able to move in and out of the fight without getting caught as well. So there's some really good things about Dreamcoil this game.
Yeah, I think that they probably needed another, because I think the Earthshaker is always just like a nice way to start a fight. Don't get me wrong, but I think that it's even nicer when the hero gets space to play. Like sort of how PSG LGD do it for FY, where it's like you get to play the Earthshaker, you can wait in the back line, come in with some game-winning Echo Slam, but you need a hero to start that momentum for you at first.
Yep. Okay, so do a couple of on-the-spot predictions. I already know where Will's going. Kevin?
I don't remember the drafts, but I'm going to pick TNC Predator.
Okay, why?
I don't know. I just have a lot of faith in anybody that doesn't play Slax's type of Veno, and also just Puck,
what was that build again?
I don't want to repeat it.
Phase into tranquil.
Yes, it was 2 boots.
Yeah, that was way too crazy for my liking. Anyway, we're going to move on from the nonsense and get into game number 1, which means handing you over to our commentary team, Capitalist and BSJ.
That's right, Brian. We're going to be casting together, I think, for the first time, right?
Yeah, you know, other than without the random people blocking out the synergy that we're definitely going to have.
We've been on many couches together, but now finally you and I are going to have some alone time. You got the warm up with Toby. How was that?
You know, hopefully, I was expecting you to be a bit more of a challenge. You know,
I was going to say that Toby is casting with Toby, casting on easy mode.
Yeah, it is.
Right? You can say whatever analytical stuff you want.
And then he just screams, black hole! And then just doesn't matter if you're right.
It's going to be nice and easy, but here, your analysis is going to have to, you know, be up to snuff otherwise.
Exactly. You're not going to distract them enough for my incompetency to go unnoticed. But, yeah, I actually like TNC's draft a lot. What I want to talk about real quick with the drafts is it just looks like the long, drawn-out fights are in huge favor of TNC. You have hard initiation and hard saves from Team Liquid, but none of their heroes really operate where if the fight lasts longer than like 10 seconds, I think they're just going to get kited and inevitably turned on by the fact that they have no disables for Puck. Veno's obviously the king of long drawn-out fights. And so it's all going to boil down to if they can snowball this game where Morphling gets bursted because you have OD combo plus Axe. The Venomancer gets off to a rough start because you have the Tusk kill potential with the, what do you call that ability?
Walrus Punch plus tag team?
The tag team. Early game tag team. Obviously mid-game, the Walrus Punch with it is ridiculous damage. Right now in the meta, I favor the team that likes longer fights. I think it's just hard to rely on winning very short fights. And this last pick Puck against no disables, I'm going to trust Blitz's judgment on the fact that Armel can just, if he has timely phase shifts, how do they kill him before the sheepstick coming out from OD? So I'm not a huge believer in Veno, but I actually think it's a really nice Veno game.
Well, we may have our first blood here already, as much does sacrifice himself to be able to pick up 3 bounty runes for TNC. That's going to be the trade-off. And Team Liquid give it to Insania, the extra bit of gold for him. We saw the odds come up, and it did heavily favor the Liquid crew.
Really? I did not notice it myself, but I consider this game pretty even. So either team that was like heavily unfavored, I'd be perfectly fine to risk it all. No, I'm kidding.
What do you think about this aggro tri lane that's coming out by them?
A lot of teams have been doing this to enable their safe laners, their off laners in the safe lane, because if you're against the Undying, it's pretty rough. To be the Axe against an offline or like an Undying plus a hero like Morph that can contribute to the kills once he's level 2. At the same time, though, I think Venomancer really likes this 1v1.
Yeah.
And Visage, I think Visage needs the early game momentum while Morphling can kind of spend his game recovering. So it's kind of weird to me. I think Venomancer loves this situation a lot. And as a Morphling, I'm not like happy, but I'm like content with somebody else making space for me, you know? Puck has a good game. Veno is a hero that's naturally going to turn this advantage into like early momentum. He pushes towers, but Axe doing a good job here. You definitely just dodge the lane. Once Veno gets level 3, 2 points Poison Sting, you just can't ever, no hero can sustain through that.
But I think it's a lot harder, right? Because he's in his safe lane, so cutting the creep wave there's a much smaller distance to work with. Gabby taking a lot of damage here. It's actually going to be overwhelmed. Just could not adapt into strength fast enough. Taiga almost being the return care there, thanks to a hefty amount of soul rip damage. But 2-1 now for Liquid as their aggressive tri lane does continue to keep the pressure on that Morphling.
Yeah, the tag team plus the soul assumption is like just a boatload of damage, and in the current early levels, you're gonna see this Morphling struggle, and you're gonna have to see the early movements from TNC basically be away from this Morphling.
Yeah.
And the one way to deal with Undying, I think Tusk is a nice way. It's Tusk and Dazzle that come to mind.
Yeah.
They're just 2 heroes that make you, like, when you activate tag team, when you use the poison touch, Undying actually has to run away. So these heroes naturally can man up with the help of their teammates. And that just makes it hard to play on dying. Your job is to literally walk at them, as you're seeing here, and he just dies.
Yeah, he just gets popped. Just like that. I think another good addition to that is they're both skills that do physical damage.
Yes.
And Undying is pretty low on armor.
Most heroes lack the ability to do enough physical damage early on.
Yeah. Tag team and poison touch being small exceptions here. Boxy is going to try and cut the creep wave just like he did last time, but KP immediately TPs onto the shrine, forcing Boxy into an awkward maneuver back over the bottom lane. Insania is going to be chased down here, but they do get a really good charge. Blocking in Gabby. Gabby trying to linger away. Insania surviving just a bit longer. Tims is not going to be able to chase him to the tower. So again, another successful bout there for Liquid as they bring down the carry Morphling.
Yep, this is, as a core, something we don't talk about very much, I think, as casters is these carry players have to know that half their games or more are just going to be crap lanes. And you know in this game as a Morphling, you first rounded it, so you're going to have a rough start, but you have this Morph Shaker, and if he's going to be able to have this time in the mid-game to recover, it's perfectly fine what's happening right now. They just have to, like, slow down the bleeding. You can't just keep feeding over and over again. Eventually, you have to have the time to catch up. Mid lane is pretty heavily favored for the puck. And the big thing about Veno in this game is it's really hard to play Blink Initiators versus Veno, and Axe is really their primary source of catch. I think they have to build pipe, and I think it's probably going to come from the Visage. Yeah, it's just weird for me. If you keep neutering this Morphling, I think it's good for their game plan on Liquid, but
yeah,
this Veno, I'm just imagining going to be a big mid-game problem. They're not going to be able to fight into this Veno Ward combo, but I may be underestimating the Visage.
Shards blocked in, tag team just slowing him down time after time. It's nice little combos that they have, whether it's the disruption with the illusions, later on it's going to be the Visage familiars. There's a lot of things to be able to play off of this tag team and the Ice Shards block in.
Yeah, this tri-lane never ceases to be scary. Their damage is all ability based, so it will just keep coming and pouring out.
Do you think TNC should swap cores here and try and put Veno in this lane, or do you think they're happy just winning basically the two other solo lanes? It looks like Armel is going to try and finish off this OD. Mickey fighting with the Fairy Fire, but it's not going to last long enough unless the imprisonment, he walks away from the coil. He is going to be fine.
Yeah, the problem is when you tri-lane like this and you lose the other lanes.
Oh no, he spotted Fisher?
No.
Oh, that didn't actually hit him. I'm not sure if it would have been enough anyway. It was a level 1. Still though, Tims is going to stick around as he sees Boxy. He's trying to clear through some stacks right now. Steals what little he can.
That's a lot. He just stole a big creep and maybe... Oh, okay, it was going to be a lot when he stole that medium creep, but now it's not.
Is under attack.
At least getting some of the experience as well. 47-0 is what Boxy's at on CS, obviously. Heavily elevated by the fact that he's been neutraling a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting. He has a lot of more CS than the Veno, but he's losing by 600 net worth-ish. So, and this is the big thing about Veno. Turns this early lead into towers, and I think losing towers to one hero like this, you're eventually going to have to leave this Morphling alone. That's what I mean by when you asked earlier, are they gonna like move this Morphling?
Yeah.
I think you're just content saying, are you really just gonna keep dedicating 3 heroes to my Morphling when you're losing a tier 1 to a Veno? And like you're getting so much off the map. Puck's having a good start. Solid. What is that? 1,100 gold above the OD in the mid lane. When you tri-lane, the core, the 1v1s are way more important in my opinion. Because those guys are getting solo levels, you know, like they're going to accelerate the game much faster than the Visage, who's level 4 at 6.5 minutes in this one tri-lane. And yeah, he has a medallion, but he's still only level 4. No birds online yet.
At some point in time, that Puck, who is going to be kind of over-leveled, and the aggro tri-lane is going to be under-leveled, he makes one rotation, wipes, you know, all 3 of them with a good coil, and then all of a sudden it feels like the last 7 minutes of tri-laning has gone, you know, down the crapper.
Yeah, this is so interesting. Your Puck is lower level than the OD, but yet winning by 1,000 net worth.
Oh, nice Fisher block in. That's going to be able to keep them from retreating. Mickey has to turn and fight, but it's not going to be able to get anything off before he gets down. TNC not going to be able to chase down Insania, but still applying the pressure on that mid lane. Continuing. Oh, the orb. Not quite nicking Insania as he continues to try and fight it out. Trying to protect his mid-tier 1 tower as best he can. Looking to be able to pull the creep wave back. Another Fisher block. This time not going to be able to catch Insania. blocking him in. Another orb. Dodges that one, but Puck is going to jump over. Armel is able to finish him off. And now they're going to be able to slow down Taiga as well. Taiga blocks out the Puck, though. And maybe the Puck, can they go for Armel? He has another orb, jumps away. He's going to be fine. Slowed down a bit by the battle hunger. But otherwise, that is a hefty push that came in from TNC. Got a couple of hero kills, but in the end didn't actually result in a whole lot of tower damage.
Yeah, earlier in the last series I talked about how like Spectre having free farm doesn't really mean much for the first 10 minutes of the mid game. Like your Spectre's not going to have a massive impact with phase plus some other item, right?
Sure.
But this Venomancer, level 8, took top tower. The big deal about taking that tower, right? It's like a gateway tower to taking mid. Suddenly there's a ton of pressure on mid. He has boots of travel on Venomancer. Lanes are going to be shoved. You have so much space for the Morphling being created. You're seeing it like slowly but surely in the net worth. All the cores on Radiant are climbing, and like you already saw it there, without any survivability items, Puck's like almost impossible to kill. Just an orb away is pretty much invulnerability here. Rotating the Gabby to enable. There's so much tower pressure. You have a 4 position level 4 Earthshaker free farming the lane top. Just the map control you get from having a Venomancer have the start that he has. One of the most impactful heroes with just levels, and that's why it scared me initially that the 1v1 for Veno versus Axe that Liquid chose to have happen.
The Fisher looking to be able to block out the Axe, allowing him to TP away just outside of the range. Good play there from Tims. I like the fact you're talking about the map pressure at the Veno, also the defensive element, right? This is a very unique hero in that he's an agility hero that can actually defend towers very well, right? And most of the time we're thinking about like their Centaurs, Abans, those are going to be the heroes that could just stand in lane, but Veno's got this nice dual pressure where he's protecting the mid tower, simultaneously getting a little bit of chip damage. This frees up, as you said, that top lane. You know, the Tims can farm that as your Shaker. They've got the Puck who can rotate around the map, making plays. All this is opened up by just a great laning phase start.
In high-level Dota, I think a 4-position greedy hero farming the opponent's safe lane at this stage in the game is like the biggest sign of being ahead. Like, you're really far ahead when this is the occurrence. That's, like, these 4-position heroes, like, he has a tome, he's going to be level 6, already 800 gold towards his blink, and that's at no cost of a core. Like, nobody on the core side of TNC is suffering to give this Earthshaker a better game. It's like he's just occupying this free part of the map, and now, you know, this Puck can just come top and cut some waves. They're going to have a lot of pressure on the mid tower with this catapult, and as you said, like, when Venomancer at this stage in the game plants himself in a lane, if he's alive, that lane is like a dead zone in terms of the opponent can't do anything. You can't fight into these wards, you can't push into the wards, you're constantly having to defend your tower against the wards. In mid lane, they're going for the call, but he does get the adaptive off. I just like the way Veno's moving, right? They now are letting the Morphling take over the mid lane. They're saying now that Visage is level 6, we have a 3k lead. They're not going to get anything on Team Liquid, so he moves his priority from pressuring mid to what you said, right? He's just going to defend his tower, bottom, put the wards there and say, yeah, try to push into me. He's going to force Team Liquid to have to, like, 4-man dive him here. That's what's going to have to happen. I expect Puck to always have a TP ready for the bottom lane. He does. Has the Veil complete, really good synergy with the rest of his lineup. It's just very natural what TNC is forcing out of Liquid. They're making Liquid's, they're forcing Liquid's hand. I don't know how else to better word it.
The map is getting smaller and smaller for Liquid. They need to take an objective somewhere to be able to open it up, and sadly, they just will not be able to take that safe lane tower very easily. So, from your perspective, BSJ, what do they need to do to break this deadlock that is currently happening from TNC?
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're forcing the hand on the side of TNC. Like, they know that when you're this far behind, the natural rotation is to go to the opponent's safe lane tower. That's like the easiest tower to take. And so KP, being a very good player, has planted himself in his lane, and he's like, okay, my Morphling's gonna farm mid. Like, we can always collapse all 5 heroes on mid. The goal for TNC is to be able to have 5 heroes at all 3 towers. And now that it's like you have this wall bottom, it's like Liquid just has to brute force it somewhere, but I don't
so
think
you're saying like maybe Liquid needs to go for like some sort of good smoke gank that surprises the Veno, or
maybe wait for the Axe blink if he's going one, which he isn't. He actually went for a hood.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like just you know, you ask like what is Liquid's plan? I don't think they have one, and I'm not like flaming. I'm saying
they don't have a plan right now.
Yeah, they can't do anything
have plays right now. They have to wait for some more farm. Right?
Yes, and while this is happening, Morphling's just working his way towards the Yasha Ags. I mean, that's just the dream, right? You're gonna have probably around a 20-minute Ags on Morphling.
Yeah.
And suddenly this hero that you slaughtered in the laning stage is gonna be, I think Morphling with Ags with a Shaker on your team is probably the most powerful carry in the entire game at that stage.
Yeah. Some would say that's a broken combo.
Yeah. I mean, they first rounded it for a reason.
Yeah, nobody else is like first rounding Morphling except for when you pair it with an Earth Shaker. Yeah, there's a good reason for that.
The heroes you first round are heroes that, despite how good or bad their start is, they're going to do their job in the game, and that pretty much the only time Morphling can do that is, even if he's countered, is when he has the Shaker.
All right, well, TNC, they staved off the pressure long enough at that bottom lane that they eventually just made a rotation themselves, punished Taiga, who so painstakingly set himself up to try and catch out the puck at some point, and ends up getting caught. Now they're able to pressure the bottom tower while simultaneously defending mid, thanks to KP's Boots of Travels, which I think is, you know, I haven't seen like a ton of Venomancer in this current meta, but I think it is like a nice twist. We're seeing lots of Boots of Travels lately, and Boots of Travel Veno looks really nice. Marchi is going to get caught trying to get some aggressive wards down, and good Ice Shards does come out from Taiga. And maybe this is the kind of things that Liquid needs. Sometimes when you're just kind of stuck in a situation where you know you can't make moves, you just have to wait, keep farming, and
meanwhile, top though.
Yeah, look at this. Charge out, that's going to be a coil, catching out the Axe. Axe just going to turn, kill whatever creeps he can. He knows he's dead.
I'm going to be as concise as possible with this analysis. They took bottom tier 1 on TNC. That makes it really hard for bottom tier 1 to be taken by Liquid. So that forces Liquid to play top, which is like no tower there, you're in dead man's zone, like you're alone. And suddenly there's ganking this level 11 Axe, and it looks like he's just feeding. And that's like such a forced play by TNC. They're executing perfectly their lineup. And now you see the movement by Liquid in the mid lane going on Puck, but that's a Puck with no stuns.
They do manage to get the Walrus Punch. That will finish off Armel. So Armel does die. KP does get a decent ultimate off. That Poison Nova is going to make sure the rest of Liquid is going to be chased away. Taiga tries to go for a cheeky teleport out, but
that's my problem with the Liquid lineup. They have this Visage hero, but once you get these kills, now what? That's my emphasis. Is they have so much damage just to throw you with the Undying, the zombies, the Venomancer DOTs that you talked about, and this is all before TNC's hit their power spike. And usually you can't really go bots on Veno because you're like, your job is to push towers and defend towers, and usually you kind of like feed though. But since he had such a good start, he didn't have to buy any of these like 4 staves or these types of items that keep him alive. Boots of Travel is just a way to enable himself to be in any lane he needs to be in, whether it's defending, whether it's pushing the lane. And let me tell you, if you want to understand where to farm on the map, if you're like trying to practice this as like an off-lane pace setting type player, this has been a flawless performance by KP. He's recognizing, he's shutting down Liquid's objectives, and whenever Liquid's objective taking is shut down, he then proceeds to go to his own team's objectives and say, okay, we need to push here, do this, like show up to these kills. He's been everywhere on the map, and Venomancer, not really a hero you think like this hero takes over the game, but I mean I think this has really been a Venomancer show so far. Like everything in this game has been dictated by the pace this hero sets, and he's going really good enabling items for his Morphling's timing. He has the Urn going into Solar Crest. I really like the lining up of timings that TNC is setting up here. Halfway to his Ags already, should be about 20 minutes like we said. And then I guarantee you the way I've been talking about this game, there's going to be like some random throw and they're all going to die, and everything I said just doesn't matter.
It is one of those situations where Liquid is kind of checkmated when it comes to moving around the map. They're just forced to let TNC farm up, but all of that could get thrown away by TNC just making one mistake when it comes to a team fight, getting a little over-aggressive, pushing into a high ground without vision. Something like that could just kind of throw away.
So you could easily get like 3-man called and just blown up. And that's something that I think if the Veno continues to itemize properly and just be positioned correctly on the map, that's never going to happen. But like you said, one false step and there absolutely is potential to just immediately throw this game. But Earthshaker already has a Blink Dagger 17 minutes in the game, and that's the effect of Veno that I'm trying to emphasize. He's not a hero that you see taking over the game because he's like 8-0, almost godlike, highest net worth in the game. Everyone else on his team, the Morphling that was crippled, now the #1 net worth in the game. Earthshaker, 4th position, has a 16, 17-minute blink dagger. That's what the impact of having this Veno hero is, and everything that he's done in this game.
He reinforced bottom, TP's into mid, pushes that out a little bit. Now it's up at top lane, joining the rest of his team, going for this kill onto Boxy, who's going to be saved for a moment here by the imprisonment, but is just going to come back to his doom as he's far too slow and far too low to be able to get out. So TNC.
That was smooth.
Look for a few more kills. Thank you, thank you. 7-7, but certainly not an even game as TNC holding a 5,000 net worth lead and controlling most of the map. And look at that, our Boots of Travel's returned. Armel, boop, shows up to the bottom lane, deals with the creep wave that's pushing in. Koifa's gonna get 0 damage on that tower. And it's very, very soon, Liquid's gonna lose their mid tower. And once they lose their mid tower, like all semblance of map control is gone on this team.
This is the best Dota I've seen so far today. Like in terms of, this is just tier 1 Dota in my opinion from TNC. Like this just everything. The way I envision tier 1 Dota is like it's like this is exactly how a perfect game would look for this lineup, and how they itemize, how they're playing the map. Like the fact that Puck now has bots, she can kind of take over the dangerous farm while Veno plays with the team. He has a solar crest. Everything just, all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together so nicely. Gabby, what's his status on the Ags? Oh, he went Manta. Interesting. So he went more of this like luxury farming item. He's thinking that he wants to delay out the game a little bit longer, I think. Like he wants like a 7 or 8K net worth lead rather than the 4 or 5K before he starts fighting.
Do you think this is as a result of them just being so successful in controlling the map? He's like, I might as well take advantage of all this space that we have.
Yeah, I mean, Veno and Puck are just unkillable at this moment, unless Veno oversteps, but unless that happens.
Taiga not quite hitting that Walrus Punch thanks to the Dream Coil coming out from Armel, but the blink forward from Mickey. He wants to be able to win this fight, but can they actually do it with the KP? Immediately throwing out the Poison Nova Hammer drop, but not quite finishing off any of these heroes. Boxy coming in fast, does have the Battle Hunger speeding him up. A nice ward block. KP's making him, but they can't kill him. He gets away to the fountain he goes. All of TNC retreat, except for Armel, who has nothing to fear from a Liquid who has expended every single bit of resources they had to finally try and get a good fight, and it ends up getting them 0 kills.
That's just crippling. Like I said, you need to kill this damn Veno. And that fissure block was insane. Like the Soul Assumption, just not quite enough damage. That value Belt of Strength and Bracer, I mean,
oh yeah,
holy moly, you just had to get that kill. Like it's not like you win the game with that kill, but that's a necessary step 1 to the process.
Yeah.
And
would have alleviated a little bit of pressure on the map. Maybe you could have gotten a bit aggressive
maybe
during
get
his
a tower,
downtime.
maybe get a Roche or something because you have this Visage hero.
Get better bounty control. They're going to be able to find Boxy here as they make a smoke up into the triangle. Now Mickey is here, does have the imprisonment. They've already used the shrine though. The snowball is going to try and pick up the axe instead. He managed to blink himself away, but that's perfect for Armel. Now with the axe right next to the OT, they get a beautiful Dream Coil. They're going to try and run him over. Disruption by Mickey pinpoint, but there's Tim entering in with the blink dagger, echo slam to finish off the 2 cores, and a Fissure to be able to block out the Captain Insania. And look at that, KP immediately TPing up to the top lane. They are giving Liquid absolutely nothing. They will not take any damage on their towers despite that split push from Koifa. Win the fight, defend your towers at the same time. This is just beautiful Dota from TNC.
Yeah. Their lineup conceptually is just so good against what Liquid has. Like Liquid has all these saves. You have the Shadow Demon Disruption, OD Imprisonment, and you have this Puck Veno that just thrive in these long fights, like throwing out all the nukes from Puck. They have no immediate stuns to kill the Puck, so he can just play super aggressive. Venomancer is just going to wear you down over time. The Poison Sting, a ridiculous amount of damage as a passive, and now he's built to enable his course first. It also enables Roche whenever they want to take it with the Solar Crest. And now he's like, well, the only potential way we lose this game is if OD just goes off. So I'm just going to itemize to screw over OD. I'm going to buy the Halberd, and then eventually you might even see like a Shiva, something like that.
Making himself tankier as well.
Yeah,
like,
it just makes it harder for the enemy
team. Bursted down with the Heaven's Halberd plus the Solar Crest. He's got Just way too much HP in armor.
And he took the Poison Sting slow. I like that a lot because you have the Axe, OD, and Visage, all 3 cores with no innate mobility. So that 12% slow is slowing them, right? Like, they are going to be consistently slowed on all of their mobility spells.
Oh, the smoke up there going to be able to instantly jump on the Venomancer, trying to pull him up, the snowball on through, continuing to chain stun with Walrus Punch, is able to finish off the kill. They're going to deal with the Tombstone and then start marching forward. Can they finally take a tier 1 tower 23 minutes in? Liquid looking to finish up that mid-tier 1.
Radiant's middle tower is under
And with 35 seconds on the clock for a Venomancer, they might just be able to do it, or maybe TNC. Oh, they're trying to make a fast play. Armel thinks he's free up here in the top lane to go for that tier 2, but caught by Boxy. They have the snowball. They're going to try and chase this puck after he jumps away, but it's just too far out. He's not going to be able to make it in time. That means that mid lane push, they still get the tower.
Yeah, the problem is the only way you're killing this Veno is with smokes.
He still gets bursted down, gets a little bit too close trying to protect that tower, and Liquid, they may not have gotten the kill at top lane, but still a decent win between the Venomancer and that mid-tier 1.
I'm curious to see if Boxy considers going for a Shadow Blade here. Usually when you're against Veno as a Blink initiator, you almost need the Shadow Blade because you're walking through Veno wards in order to get on top of this guy. If you don't have a Shadow Blade, you have to be smoked like you were there to actually get that Blink off. And wow, that's the right move for Liquid. They had to do that. They had to kill the Veno to get anything done. But like I said, you're only getting those kills when you're smoked, and that's just rough. You do have the Ags already done on Morphling. His game is accelerating like crazy. Yeah, Visage suffers against these split-pushing type cores, and you're against Morphling, Puck, and even a hero like Veno. You do have a pipe, though. So that's really nice for the team, the sustain aspect.
Let's say 5 minutes from now.
Okay.
Maybe less. We've got BKB on the OD. Can Mickey carry this game for them?
He can carry, but it's going to be off the back of some boxy, like 2 or 3 man call.
Right.
That's what it has to be. Like I said, once he comes out of BKB, these long fights are so in favor of TNC. So it's not really in the OD's capability himself to make it so he can destroy them during the BKB. Right?
You need that good initiation.
Yeah,
and that's why the Shadow Blade is all important for Boxy.
He has a BKB queued up.
Okay. Well,
it's like, it's his job to throw himself in, but I think if he doesn't get a 2 or 3 man call, it's just not going to be enough.
Yeah.
If they see the BKB from OD, you're just going to see a hardcore disengage with the Ags Morphling, the Puck.
Oh, Tombstone coming out. Insania's not sure which one to do. He's going to try and back away from this Tombstone, but he's very clear. Oh, Jesus. Yikes. That's the power of that Morphling. He's going to be jumping forward as that Earthshaker, thanks to that Aghanim Scepter. There's a buyback already from Insania. He knows how important this fight is to be able to win. Snowball protecting him. Gabby gets Walrus Punch. They blow up every time. The hammer's not quite enough. He goes back into Morphling form and does manage to survive. Barely. Now turns on Taiga. We'll be able to finish him up. But Fisher slowing down Mickey, who has the damage over time on him as well. Even as he's saved by the disruption, there's nothing really to get him out of here. He can imprison and disruption and do all of these things, but there's so much AoE damage. Gabby jumping even farther forward to be able to catch Koifov next. A stun on the Boxy as well. Gets the call onto Gabby, but Gabby being healed up by the Soul Rip means there's no chance to be able to claim that kill. Jumping forward again. There is no escape from the Aghanim's Morphling. Once you have been broken, nobody is getting out of the fight. An Aghanim's Morphling with an Earthshaker on his team will catch every single hero trying to retreat.
Yeah, I mean, the turn potential, that's what I meant when I said they win like long fights. Their turn potential is insane. The Puck Coil, the Shaker, the Ags Morphling, the Veno Ward slowing you as you're trying to run away. They have to win the fight in the first like 5 seconds. That's what I was trying to explain in the draft. And this Morphling has this like critical threshold, undying with the clutch Soul Rips on March, like saving Morphling not only during the OD ult so he could get his replicate off or whatever it is that you switch from back and forth, whatever the actual active on that's called. Yeah, if you don't get him instantly, you're just going to lose the fight.
Oh, they got initiation on Armel with the Walrus Punch. No, a Fisher comes out from Gabby to be able to stop that one, quickly blowing up the offlaner, and now turning back towards poor old Taiga, who has nowhere to be able to run to, and Liquid, they're just bleeding out now at this point. Hemorrhaging kills, hemorrhaging buildings. TNC will back up as they see a buyback coming in. No need to get greedy. They take it to tier 3. They can go for Shrines next. This game is well in hand for TNC, and it would take an epic throw to give Liquid even a chance at coming back.
Dire's top shrine is under attack.
Yeah, it's definitely... their draft is not meant to be at this pace. That was a bit confusing to me when they picked like this Visage OD combo. OD a slow hero, Visage a hero that wants to set the pace of the game. And this Veno pick was just so good. But yet they picked the Visage into the Veno. I can see why you have this pipe aura builder to sustain, but in my opinion, there's just like no such thing as sustaining against Veno. Like it just doesn't work. Eventually, as long as there's some other hero to actually carry the game, the Venomancer is just too much of a problem. And I know I'm highlighting him despite us watching this Morphling jump around with Ag Shaker and everything, but he's the one that set all this up to happen. And now Gabby obviously just taking over the torch, or he passed on the torch to Gabby, whatever the saying is, and it's just easy pickings from here. I feel like they have the Scotty done on Morphling against OD. He couldn't even burst him when he didn't have the Scotty, the extra int, the extra health pool. And now you also have the Scotty against ranged cores. Scotty was really only nerfed against melee cores, but they have OD, Visage. So, with the Aegis going Satanic.
Oh, just happened to land right on top of Insane. He almost gets one shot by that Enchant Totem and will be finished by the Dagon.
That's a BM Dagon, man. It's a level 5 Dagon coming out there.
A conspiracy.
No, I think you're absolutely right, by the way. Like, I think you did a great job highlighting, like, what KP was doing so well and how he was able to create all this space. And they are going to find their initiation on a Gabby, who does have the Aegis, so Liquid cannot overcommit for this one, but he can't even finish him off in the first place. The imprisonment goes down, but he's going to come back where he'd enchant Totem to way out into the back lines, and now jumping back in. Gabby getting dangerously low for a moment there, trying to go for Koifa, has a horde of zombies on him. Liquid going to have to give up this lane of barracks, it looks like.
I didn't know that interaction when you said he's going to show up on the other side.
Yeah. Oh, what a beautiful Manta. And that is Elena Barracks, and TNC give up nothing for it once again. I mean, how many times have we said that? TNC have made a good play and have given, 0 kills, 0 towers, just very clean Dota by them at this tournament.
Yeah, I can't even fault Alliance. I think that they kind of got... Ever since the laning stage, they set the pace of the game on TNC, and they never let up.
Yeah.
They have... Like, if you have a superior game plan, and the lanes go your way, and you play flawless Dota, you're just not going to lose. Like, that's just Dota in a nutshell. In these types of situations, teams will really only lose if they kind of just give it away. It's like, it's TNC's game to lose, right?
Yep.
It was never, in my opinion, Liquid's game to win. It was just at any point they were just at the hands of some poor positioning by TNC. And at this point, the ease of execution for TNC is just
that's
so high.
Gotta hurt. And now Gabby quickly joining Armel at the pickoff onto Insania. They're going to be able to blow up this OD. He has his BKB, but honestly, what's the point? The physical damage of Gabby would quickly overwhelm him one way or another. 2 heroes down. TNC continue to just run back and forth around the map between their 2 boots of travels and the Aghanims Morphling, allowing you to be able to quickly move across vast amounts of terrain. There's just not enough space for Liquid to ever get outside of their base, and if they don't get outside of their base, then eventually they'll find their tier 3s falling.
Yeah, this is what I like to call shepherd mode for TNC. That you got the sheep on Liquid, and you say your fence is here. If you cross this area, we're just going to remind you you're not allowed to go out there. And Liquid just 27,000 net worth lead for TNC. Look at all those tips for KP. I mean,
TNC agrees with you.
Yeah.
KP was the reason.
You have to rely on your offlaner to like take over a game like this. I think in this patch, it's very important that the offlaners are versatile, that they can be these save type heroes, or they can be the hero that's just going to pave the entire way for your game plan. And that's, I think KP has been nothing short of just impressive ever since I've watched him this whole season. Obviously before that, a little bit of lackluster results.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I
think last year's wasn't the greatest KP that we've seen.
Yeah, but he's obviously been a very well-known player and very successful player throughout his career, and I just love watching conceptually flawless Dota, and KP has done that. And then obviously now we got the luxury of watching the flashy or Morphling, but maybe for some people it's more like PTSD than actually enjoying
Okay,
that aspect.
he out of position here. Liquid trying to jump on him real quickly. Heaven's Halberd buying so much time though. KP finally it wears off on a Mickey, and he will drop the hammer to be able to finish off that Venomancer. But look at Gabby and Armel into the backlines they go. Already finished off that Shadow Demon. Now using all that physical damage. Jesus, look at Mickey. He takes the Morphling out of the fight for a moment and will manage to finish off the 5 position of TNC. But nobody can deal with Gabby. Neither can they deal with Armel, as they just don't have the disables to be able to rock him. Unless this call from Boxy, they don't have a whole lot of damage to be able to follow it up, especially as the Echo Slam coming in to be able to finish off some of these heroes. Mickey with a buyback, looking for any kind of kill to be able to claim after the Morphling is dead. He will be able to get the imprisonment. Looks to Armel. Armel jumps away. Tim's, he's trying to get out of here. Blink Dagger's not going to be up in time, though, and he will fall. Liquid finally get an okay fight for themselves, but that's only because they had 2 different buybacks on their 2 cores.
Of course, like right as I talk about that, Veno gets caught out and, you know, has to buy back. I thought they were going to win that fight anyway.
Yeah.
Once Veno got caught, just because he got his ult off and they were taking so much damage, but the sustain from the Visage is proving to be a bit of a nuisance, but it might just be a little too late here.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's like, yeah, that was a good fight, but yeah, I had to use 2 buybacks, and OG just doesn't have an answer to this Morphling's physical damage whenever he just Enchant Totem jumps on him.
He's queued up the refresher work, by the way, on OD. That might be the play. I can't even fault that at this point. You might just need double BKB, double ult, but this is a dieback from Mickey. That's an Axe coil, and
they try and snowball save him. He's going to go in here, and he does have the Blink Dagger, points away, but the Blink follow-up from KP, tries to hit him with the Gale. Doesn't quite land, though, but the Orb over the top will make sure that Mickey does fall. Boxy does manage to get the call onto Armel. Armel gets bursted down. Can they grab more? KP trying to slither away, but Koifa's Birds hot on pursuit, but they can't chase for long. They know Gabby's got to be around here somewhere. And Taiga, poor Taiga, zombies, poison slow. They're going to leave him to die here. Insania, I'm not even sure if you could turn around and save your ally. Disruption going down, but obviously he's coming back to the same spot he was before. What a beautiful Fisher. Finally, Gabby shows up once again, hunting down Insania at every turn. Beautiful Fisher block coming in from Tim's as well to be able to catch Koifa. Make sure he's not going anywhere. Gabby with the double damage. I want to see him one-shot somebody. You know, Insania, who's bought back.
This is almost got
one-shot.
Non-stop. The Gravekeeper cloak were down, and he almost got one-shot.
All right, Foxy. Oh, there he goes, Insania. It wasn't quite the one shot, but he does finish off with the adaptive strike. Boxy's going to fall as well, and that leaves no buybacks for Liquid, and just Taiga all alone in the fountain. TNC. Oh, I guess they did get enough gold for Boxy to be able to buy back, but it won't make a damn difference. Gabby with the satanic pickup and an ultra kill for game 1. What a dominant performance by TNC. BSJ, I think you pointed out very rightly, all were going good for TNC, and there wasn't just a whole lot of mistakes. So I want to take this back like 33 minutes ago. Should they have shut